Okay. We're live! Hey!
Yes, we're back. we're actually live.
Hey, everybody! Sorry we didn't tell you what time zone we would be back in.
Of course, I'm going to
3:30.
hysterically
somewhere.
check the sound through.
Yeah.
3:30 Mountain Time.
Happy New Year, everybody!
Happy New
It's
Year!
February.
Happy February 6th, everybody.
Yay!
Whatever today is, we're very...
We were trying not to catch that COVID, all right?
That's true.
That is true.
Yes. Abundance of caution.
No, thank you.
We're very excited to be back, though. And we're really excited to bring you more kinds of content and more stuff and more. Maybe even some live shows, so hooray! Anyway, welcome to our stream. I'm Kat. I'm the DM. I play a lot of characters. Look us up on supercoolnerdshow.com or SCNS Live on just about everything. If you want to look me up, you can at Better Cat. I almost never post anything. I try here and there. We're gonna go around the table, say your names, your handles if you
I
want
need to get back over to the
and-
board for a second. All right.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
What
Why?
happened?
Nothing, it's just there's a noise gate up and I need to take it down.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I don't know how to get out of this situation.
Well, it's better than Hannah's idea earlier.
What, just putting my ass in the way?
Dude, you she bent over the table and stuck her butt out. It was like, go ahead. I'm like, nah.
You're acting like it's a problem.
Nah.
Yeah. What, you mean you can't get around
She was just doing
this?
the TikTok dance.
Yeah.
Which one? All of them.
Oh, what was the noise gate?
Every
Anyway.
single one.
Okay, yeah, turned off the noise gate. Sorry.
Oh, thank goodness. You'll hear every roll of the dice now.
No, that noise gate it's really limiting. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
Anyway.
We're going to go around the table, say your handles if you want to, your name, and your character's name and class or race,
You know, all the
Both.
things.
species, whatever.
Starting.
Starting with Jason.
Okay, hi, Jason. I play Alabroth Jarud, a dragonborn cleric. He talks like this, actually. Need to prop
Get
her
back
up
into
a
your
little,
voices.
proper up in the uncouth way that I normally talk.
Sure.
Sure.
I'm Mia. I play Ronnie. And
Who is it?
I'm an Air Ganassi
Did you have to
Ranger.
Look.
I forgot who I play.
More importantly, is that crop top airy boy, I think they call
Yes, yes.
Air top windy boy.
it. Yeah.
All
The
right.
crop top is extremely important.
Hello! My name is Octavia.
Good lord.
My name is Cass, but I play Octavia, who's a high elf monk. And, yes, she talks about like this.
I'm Cora. I play Brana, the Asimar rogue. He has an accent, and my mouth will not let me make this accent right now. And I'm very sorry for the future.
Your mouth is wrong.
It's wrong. My mouth is wrong.
Dude, I was trying to practice something that was definitely not Australian last night, and it kept coming out Australian. I was so mad.
I'm extremely bad at doing accents, which is why I don't.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair.
Well, see, I was good at doing this accent until I had to do it every other week, and then my brain just went, "Dude, you don't know how to do that."
I mean, I did
Fools!
an approximation of Russian for like a year and a half, and then like 2 weeks later, I was like, I have no idea. I don't know where it was. I want to shout out to our sponsors for keeping the lights on. So the lights might go off during the session. You never really know.
Depends on the
Sponsor
whims.
us. Hit me up. Badmoon at supercoolnerdshow.com.
Please sponsor so we can get food, please, sir.
Please fund our chicky nuggy habit.
We've
Some
all
gruel.
had to share the same bubble tea, and that is not sanitary,
Yeah,
and we're not comfortable
especially in
with it.
these times.
We all just pour it like baby birds into an open mouth so we don't get our germs everywhere. So sponsor us. We'll
called
stop talking
Waterfall.
about that.
If you're not disgusting.
A waterfall, you have separate cups.
That's true.
We can only afford the one.
Anyways.
Sponsor us. Anyway,
With the
so
closest that could have gone.
we are gonna jump right into the session. Last session, which was at least a year and a half ago, you guys all met the best NPC that will ever be created, Shackles the cat.
Yes.
At the top, got dropped into a sewer and told to bring you guys up into the office of one of the professors at the wizarding school in Strassus, the capital. So you guys went up there. It was kind of like a bunker / office, sealed off from magical effects, which affected all of you differently. And this professor was a former professor of Azra's, played by the one, the only Christian, last time he was here. And Azra and Astraphus didn't get along that well. And he survived an 1.5-hour interrogation in which you found out that they did in fact know about the Obelix, that it had a very, very refined palate, and that it was in the real library, which Ezra was not that happy to find out about.
Octavia thought it was hilarious.
So, Ezra also revealed that a little morally ambiguous, maybe even more morally ambiguous than you thought. Was kind of cheating her way through school until she got kicked out. You guys went to the real library and fought the Obelix and mostly made it through. Azra got hit with a blow so hard she insta-died. And through instant action, the party was able to get her back to Astraphus, who could put her in repose until your cleric, Alabroth, had a long rest so that he could cast Revivify. He seemed to be perfectly fine with it. All of you seemed to be perfectly fine. No PTSD.
No single ounce.
Yeah, took it pretty rough. So you, but you made it through. There were some people that popped up that were revealed. There were little glimpses into different histories of yours that you didn't really get, really. I don't think she told you about any of it. And you found out, most importantly, that the king is in the Dormer mines, which Alabroth knows where they are. It's close to his hometown of Blackburrows, where they are.
Sorry.
So, you guys all bid Azra fond farewell. She was staying with Astraphus to help try and kind of put together a fight against the Obelix to get whatever refugees might be in the lead safe at the back of the library. Anyway, that all happened last session. I will say at the top that you guys took a long rest and then you did 3 hours of stuff and then you took another long rest, which is my fault. But normally that's not something you can do, but I was fine with it. Pretty hard morning, actually. But when you bid farewell to all of them and left, it was about probably 6 or 7 p.m. It's already starting to get dark, but you are wide awake. And I will say that before you left, Astraphus told you that within 25 miles of the city, that you should be fine. There'd be enough patrols and stuff like that. So if you do want to leave and walk for a while tonight, that might actually work out pretty well.
Do we know how far we are approximately from our destination?
You know, it kind of depends on which way you
By the
take.
destination, I obviously mean the border.
What, the mine or the border?
I think
The mine's supposed to be near the border.
The mine...
It is near the border. I will say that there's not really a
Border
path.
of the
You're gonna have to kind of go around that, through the border, then around close to where Alabroth is from, to go up to the mines. There's not a lot of pathways to get there, or you'd be making it, which wouldn't be a great idea.
Yeah.
It depends on which way you take. You could, would take longer, but you could go kind of back the way you came. It would take probably 3 or 4 days longer, but it would be more familiar. Or, if you go, like you guys, that would be headed, you'd be headed north, east, and then you'd have to go way down south to cross the border. And then from that, it's the same. You have to go over and up. And, yeah, and if you go the other way, you're going to go close to, not that close to Trito, where Bron is from. And, but kind of in that direction, curls around a little bit the other way. Most of it is grassland, like, but there's they don't patrol that much out there. I will say you guys have been together right now for about 8 days. So even if it feels a lot longer than that, you don't know what your situation is.
Yeah.
But the grasslands will be faster.
Grasslands would probably be 3-4 days faster.
Oh, then.
But it does involve, like, camping out one night, but you'd be close to Strassus. And then you'd probably be able to hit taverns for most of the rest.
Our path getting here wasn't the greatest. We should try something new, maybe.
I think we should do whatever's the quickest way there.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Go warn Ember.
Less chance of someone falling off a mountainside as well. I'm not looking in anyone's direction.
Why are you all looking at me? I didn't fall off the mountain completely.
We're just
We're
looking
just
directly forward.
going
I'm looking directly at
We're
you.
going the other way.
It all worked out in the end.
Stabbing people supposed to be like whatever. Yeah.
I elect for the new path.
Grasslands shouldn't be too bad.
There's a road that leads in that direction for a while, and after that, the condition of the road is just a metal, like, but yeah, so are you guys gonna take off that night?
Yeah, I think we're well rested. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I have dark vision.
you head out of the city, for the first, like,
It's okay, I do.
hour, because of where you were in the city, you're just in the city, and it's kind of like dinner time, and merchants are coming out and stuff, so like there's not really a huge opportunity to talk in the first hour or so, and then it becomes that uncomfortable, like, retail space where you get a customer every 35 seconds or so like you try and start, but people keep being around, and so it just feels awkward. So after a little bit, like, you all kind of fall into, like, a silent trudging for a while. You guys probably your best bet would be to try and settle down by, like, 3-ish in the morning, sleep till 11, and then you could mostly reset to a normal schedule by the next day-ish.
Or we could push on through the day and then go to sleep tonight, right?
Maybe work in time for a nap. For us people who need to sleep longer than that.
You could, but you would be facing, like, exhaustion, disadvantage, right where things get unknown. Including the condition of the road with questionable dark vision. Who you all had, like, most of you had cartography tools, as it turns out. Yes?
I do
Yeah.
not.
Mine's for a different reason than anyone who might be wanting to make real maps, but
I do, and I very much.
Okay, so just, like, yeah, you can be mapping all this, that's fine, but you also would, like, also, they're able to give you a map. It doesn't have a lot of the terrain or anything, but it does have, like, kind of settlements, and they don't know a lot about them, but that they just know that they're there. So it looks like if you camp out tonight, but late, that would be about, you'd be camping out on the edge of where it's safe to be, and then the next day with like a reasonable pace you could make it to a settlement. But if you push on, you could get to the settlement earlier, but it wouldn't be hard to see what the benefit would be, because you'd get there at like 3 in the afternoon, and then what are you going to do?
Sleep and then go. I mean, we're very much on a timetable.
Yeah.
You're
the
very
king might
much
get murdered.
on
right?
the timetable, but like it ends up being the same number of days.
Okay.
Because if you started sleeping at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock when you got to the tavern,
Okay. I'm
yeah.
I'm cool with what you said then.
Okay. So, everybody roll a survival check just to see how well you can keep track of about what time it is or how long you've been walking.
10.
15.
1.
18.
So,
I was like, not my best roll, and then
That's also with my bonus, by the way. I don't have a bonus.
that's my real life stats.
Yeah.
So you guys,
Intense time blindness.
yeah, you
Bordering
guys,
on real
at
blindness.
some point, like you have walked along in kind of a lot of silence. 18.
Yeah.
And at some point, like, you guys kind of both, like, come out of your reverie and look at each other, and you're like, it's probably like time, right? Like,
To sleep? Is what you're saying?
yeah, like it seems like about that late.
Yeah.
Good to knock off.
Yeah. I just sleep here in the grass, right?
you have bedrolls.
Yeah, you have bedrolls.
I mean, presumably we wouldn't do it on the road.
There's like a lot of like.
I wouldn't know.
Have you never slept on a road before?
You don't sleep on the road.
I know.
Right?
Not more
Isn't it-
than one, certainly.
Isn't it more like, what about snakes?
So snakes don't worry about snakes. I mean, unless it's like a really big snake. Small snakes.
I am worried about snakes.
If anything, they would just snuggle up next to you to sleep. It's not like they would be actively coming in to bite you or attack you. They would just be looking for a little
They
bit.
would bite me?
No, they would
Roll
not.
a
They would
nature
just come.
check.
They would just be looking for a little warmth, and
That's
then
actually pretty good. Nature.
no sudden moves or harsh words, and you'll be fine.
The grass is dead. You feel like you could see snakes real easy.
Okay.
Just in that like general area, there's
It's
actually
like,
a spot.
it's the point of like, I know this is probably not gonna happen, but will it? Like, I cast know this won't happen, but I'm also very scared of it
I kind
happening.
of clear some
You're a little
grass
big for
to
a snake to
ground
be interested
to
in eating you.
fire pit.
Go ahead and roll. Everybody roll a perception check, and everybody who doesn't have dark vision needs to roll at disadvantage.
Oh man!
Are you serious?
I watched that happen.
Oh, that
Roll
was
it away. Hold on, where's our dunce chair?
Oh, this one.
This is a nature check?
Put it in the dunce chair.
It's a perception check.
Perception, okay.
I really gotta fix their
7.
Oh,
It's
gotta
too
be-
far back.
Oh, yeah.
11.
Okay.
Oh,
That's with
going in the dance chair.
disadvantage.
perception. It was
Who, me
a-
or you?
Oh,
you.
it was actually a 19.
With
Perception.
disadvantage?
Yeah, I rolled a 23 the first time.
Holy crap!
I'm jealous.
What'd you roll?
So I rolled really high on one and then
4
like
see.
low on
plus
the other.
my perception's pretty good. 11. 11 total.
So only Alibroth. He's kind of looking around and he catches off his reflection. There's actually like a fire pit, little clearing kind of dug off.
Oh.
It's clearly there's no glowing embers or anything. It looks like there's little bits of grass growing up, so it's been just kind of common use, I guess.
Okay. But when everyone mind gathering up a little bit of wood, I'll start a fire. And
There's bushes and stuff.
Okay,
I go
it's
do-
like,
I go do the same thing, you know.
It's not. It takes a few minutes, but not that long.
I think it takes Octavia a little longer.
She's kicking at him, trying to see if they're snakes.
But also, like, she seems really distracted. She kind of looks like she's doing a math problem in her head all the time, like this whole day. Just kind of.
Which is different from her normal look, where she looks like somebody handed her a math problem and said, solve this right now.
But no, she's normally, like, pretty talkative, just when we're walking and just...
You don't know if it was, like, the tone of the city or, like, what it was, but something, like, kind of made you... I mean, you might know what it was. Kind of quiet. You were kind of quiet for a lot of it, and it was, yeah, but you're able to gather up some firewood without a lot of trouble, and you guys do have some, like, rations and jerky and stuff like that, so it's a beautiful night. It's starting to be a little on the cooler side, like it's probably low 60s, but you have a fire, so like it's pretty comfortable. And you guys, as you're kind of looking around, like it's you can see Tyranna has 4 moons, and that's usually how most people navigate. They don't really use the stars a lot because you can navigate with 4 around. But Alibroth in particular, you're looking up the sky and you see one of the most well-known constellations is Bahamut. It's one of his eyes is kind of like our North Star. And in Tyranna, you don't need it for navigation, so you're taught mostly from history or religion or arcana perspectives about constellations. Like, it's straight up lore, and that's all they use them for. So, you guys hear the fire crackling and smell the nice, like, smoky but not awful stuff. What do you guys do?
Since we identified that star, I'm probably sitting there kind of like just cross-legged but looking at the star. Just kind of.
It has a really melancholy feel. Like, not melancholy just sad, but like melancholy like in the original Muppet movie, The Great Gonzo, when they're sitting around a campfire, he sings a song, and it's just kind of like lonely and nostalgic for somewhere you haven't been.
So, not like an abundance of black bile.
Not yet.
Well, hope not at all.
So, how is everyone?
A little tense, I think.
I
I'm just going to come out and say I am very sorry for how things went in the last battle.
How things went?
I don't
Yes.
think things could have went much better, all things considered.
No, you don't understand, my friends. I am distraught over the fact that I became drunk with power. I thought I was a warrior of some sort and understood my own limitations during the battle, and someone died due to that.
To be fair, there's only so much healing you can do, and by all accounts, you're still a warrior.
That's the thing. I had a choice between save someone or fight, and I made the wrong decision. I should have healed. I should have been able to perform a resurrection at that time, and I chose to fight. I won't make that mistake again.
It was also, if you had moved your attention to resurrect them, it would have put the rest of us in a lot of danger, and we would have lost a lot more than just the one person. And they did end up alright, sort of, in the end.
For what we were fighting and how very much out of our league power-wise as that was, if you had chosen not to fight, I don't think the amount of healing that you would have been doing would have made up for how much we would have been hurt.
Aye.
We'll see. I feel as though I've shamed myself in front of Bahamut. And I don't feel that he sees me now.
How do you know?
I feel that my actions caused him to maybe not look favorably on me. And I don't feel his presence. Or perhaps it's just my own doubt. In the meantime, I promise I will stay true to my vow to keep you all safe. And not allow that to happen again.
I actually find that very comforting. I don't blame you for anything that you did, but I think that you're right. We rely on you, and I don't think you'll ever make that mistake again.
I don't think your decision now is wrong, but I do think you're being too hard on yourself. I don't think your decision before was wrong either.
Too hard on us?
Yeah.
Oh, like...
Got it?
Yes, I don't think I've heard that before, but yes.
I think you've probably heard it once. Like, from your parents, maybe.
Maybe.
Like...
In the interim, I'll endeavor to do better and stay true to Bahamut's vision, and hopefully he will grace me by seeing me again.
You can make a perception check, Jason. Albro.
16.
So, out of the corner of your eye for a split second, you think that you see the emblem on your hammer, like, maybe glowing, and as you glance over to look at it more directly, it was probably just a trick of the light. Like, it's probably nothing.
If it's all the same with you, I would like to pray and rest a little bit.
Please do.
I can take the first watch.
I kind of just go just a little bit further away, just a little bit. And
Look
just
out for snakes.
I think snakes are the least likely to leave any kind of mark on him.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Skin's very tough.
I
Also,
don't
isn't
like
he
them.
resistant to poison?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, aye.
Oh, really?
Also-
Yeah, when I was a kid.
Don't you have
Dragonborn, so, you know.
Don't you have squeezy snakes?
Squeezy?
Like squeezy.
Oh, like the ones that can, like, constrict. Constrictors.
Constrictors?
Squeezy.
Squeeze.
Sure.
Make a nature check.
That's very much thinking like a
8-week
Squeezy snakes.
You're all of a sudden temporarily paralyzed by the thought of an anaconda sneaking up on Algebra. An anaconda big enough to suffocate the 6'8" dragonborn.
You're not scared of the squeezy snakes?
I don't think there are a lot of them in the grasslands.
Aye, not in this
Generally,
Where
area.
are they?
Honestly, they'd probably be where
Make a
I'm
nature
from.
check.
Well, Brana has no idea.
I rolled a nat 1.
Oh.
You can,
I rolled a 5, so I'm sure I'm an expert, right?
you've
Nobody
never
knows
heard
that.
of squeezy snakes.
And that is their name from now on.
Make it with advantage because you're right. It would
Okay.
be more likely there, but also one other place.
Okay. That's a nature check?
Uh-huh.
Hold on, I gotta remember the alphabet. Okay. 12.
12.
Yeah.
You've heard that in lands like where you came from that there can be there sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and you've heard that they swim, but that seems bonkers. But yeah, and you've heard that sometimes they hide high in trees. That's all you know.
Yeah, I think they would be more likely like where I'm from, like watery, like coastal, swampy type areas. I didn't know. I've never seen one, but like I think that's where those are from.
Okay.
So they're not hiding out in the grass.
Probably not.
Okay.
You would at least know that it would be effing huge. It would
Yeah.
be a huge thing. Couldn't
Yeah.
really sneak through the level of grass.
I can assure you, a snake big enough to squeeze you to death is real big.
Okay.
You'll notice it.
Okay. I don't know if that's better.
I mean, if you notice
do
it,
you
you
want to
can
see
run away.
Do you want to see it come? Anyways. I'm good. Yeah. Just gonna watch here.
I go over.
Who? We haven't figured out the other watches.
I'll take second watch.
Okay, I'll take the last watch.
You know that like for the last watch, for most of it, it will be light.
That's
So
why I'm
like
taking it.
she'll probably be good because she can see in the dark.
I'm taking the last watch because it's going to be close to dawn and I don't have dark vision.
And I'm taking second watch because I can see in the dark.
You can.
Yeah.
I can't see in the dark. I don't think
Yeah,
you
but-
can see
Yeah, I
in the
can't
dark.
see.
Yeah, I have night vision.
Yeah, we're split by can
But I can-
not see
I
in the
can-
dark and can.
Oh, yeah, dark
I have
vision, sorry,
cantrips,
whatever.
so I can like throw out light if I need to. And we do have a fire going, so yeah, I can cast light. I say a prayer to Bahamut and beg for his favor, and just try to hear him.
How often do you think Alibroth has heard him? I know he's spoken to him before. He called him to service.
Once when he heard us calling.
And not.
It's been a while since he's heard his voice. Hence, it's kind of like wandering around trying to find his purpose. So he heard the calling, but figured, you got to prove yourself before you can
Yeah.
hear from your deity all the time or whatever.
You-
Before you're like,
You think back and like, it's kind of weird. You weren't entirely sure that you believed in the lore of the stuff presented to you in constellations and classes and whatever. You studied it, but everybody had. And when he kind of showed up and was like, "I want you," it was a big deal to realize that you didn't know all there was to know that's out there and what's real and what's not. And this might be the first like trial of faith that he's kind of had.
yeah.
But you feel a little bit like calmer afterwards, but you didn't necessarily hear anything.
All right, we'll pick my stuff up and go over towards the fire and just kind of. Well, I'll just kind of roll away from everybody and do my curl up thing. But
Takes you a little bit to get to sleep. But in your dreams that night, you do see a platinum dragon as clearly as you saw it the first day. And he's just like, you see, he comes down from the night sky, from the constellation he's flying, and he comes pretty close to you, and he just kind of smiles as much as, well, you probably think that dragons smile normally. Just smiles like a little bit, and you find yourself feeling like reassured within your sleep that maybe he's not ready to just give you answers yet, but you don't feel quite as bad. You feel like he hears you, at the very least.
okay.
Octavia, roll a perception check.
Pretty good. 18.
So, I'll say probably twice in your 4-hour watch, You find yourself like starting to get like almost like driving hypnosis.
Yeah.
And then as the wind rustles a little in the grass, you're like and
Is this gonna be a problem if I'm near?
Yeah, you have to throw all the crunchy leaves out.
But I'm also kind of going back through my notes, figuring out, okay, this is what Ember told me, this is what Daniel said, this is what Astraphus said, kind of going through over and over, going through the information in my mind, and figuring out trying to figure out why Astraphus was so surprised when we said we were going to the border.
Yeah, like
Sorry, I didn't know my flash was on.
he seemed surprised that you thought you were done at the border at the very least.
So I'm trying to figure out if what we're supposed to do is go try and rescue the king.
Roll a history check with advantage.
Woo! That's good. History, 16. I don't have a good...
You think back and the people that seemed like the monastery was most proud of in their histories in some ways were the people who'd taken decisive action without all the information.
Great.
Which is something that you probably challenged a lot. Like,
Yeah.
Shouldn't they have waited for permission or resources, and couldn't they have been part of the problem? But at the same time, you realize that you've also always kind of admired people who just did a thing. And you keep thinking about the fact that Ember had to find you the first time. She didn't just know where you were. You don't necessarily think you're going to get an answer before you get to the border.
Yep.
But maybe there's a note there saying what you should do next, or maybe she's there, or whatever. Right now there's a lot of like border patrolling going on. Mostly just to have people go through the checkpoint either way. But it's only about 80 miles to 100 miles total that is really traversable border. So I'd say there's probably 3 points, but one of them so far, with reasonable that it would be the closest one to the mountains.
Okay. Yeah. I'll wake up.
You'll wake up here.
I'll wake up. No.
I guess told her.
For the first part, because I don't have to go to sleep quite yet, I'm gonna kind of be like, okay, so here's what I've learned, and here's, I think we might have to go save the king, but I'm not sure.
To be fair, I kind of figured we would be saving him.
I don't want to.
Is there a particular reason you don't want to? So.
Not liking. No, it has nothing to do with him. I don't know. I'm not good with people, so I'm comfortable when people tell me what to do.
Alright.
I'm not comfortable when they're not doing that. I've been told what to do my entire life, and so I'm very comfortable doing that. So I don't know, like, what do you do if someone doesn't tell you what to do, but you know you're probably supposed to do something? Do you do it?
Aye,
Always?
if you feel like it.
That's where I run into trouble.
Brian's just like,
Just woke up, bitch.
I can't have existential dread when I wake up. Maybe later.
Like, I suppose I think it's what I should do. We should do.
Saving the king is definitely the right thing to do.
It's like the morally right thing to do.
Morally
right?
right thing to do. We don't need a higher power telling us we need to do this. Of any kind.
Nice, though.
That would be nice, but unfortunately we don't really have that right now. We have our gut feeling.
Are they loud enough to wake anyone up with this?
I don't think so.
I know, should be very cautious about that.
I mean, like, in the back of Ronnie's, like, that level where you fall asleep and you're just kind of aware, you hear little noises here and there when a little louder and a little higher at the same time happens. But, like, they don't really.
The more stressed she gets, more it seems like a fly is buzzing in your ear.
But yeah, the wood being, like, from bushes and not is probably a little damper than, so there's crackling, a lot of crackling from the fire, which is pleasant. But
I'd be lying if I said I wanted to as well.
I mean, do you like him?
Hasn't really made much of an impact on me. I live in a little village just out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
But I also know that if I don't, what'll end up happening is that little village, that home, it's not safe anymore. Think about what could happen if they kill the king. The chaos that'll happen, just to look at the chaos that's happened when he's not been here.
So make it worse for Pebbles.
Aye.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to bed.
you find yourself as you're, like, starting to go into your meditative, like, think about Remy and Rory, and how, like, they had their own journey that they kind of wanted to go on, and they had to put it off, and poor stressed out Jeffrey, and just, like, wondering what the balance is in doing something without permission to maintain law and order in a society.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to discipline, quiet your mind to meditate.
Yep.
Creepily.
Oh, yeah.
Bored stiff. Brana, go ahead and make a perception check.
It's not a one.
Didn't suck.
So the rainbow sparkly dice are the ones that roll well.
Today.
Today.
For
Today,
now.
for now.
This hour. This
It's not extra enough for you. That's what it is. This
22.
dirty penny.
Dope. You find yourself, like, feeling like you're sitting in companionable silence. Again, it's almost like whatever's in your head has quieted down a little bit as your situation is complicated. And you don't know how intentional that is. You don't know.
He's not questioning it.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, thank the Lord. I can have
just
silence.
kind of chilling together. Like, you haven't had terrifying nightmares the last night or two.
Always nice.
So you would assume, at the very least, that, like, he's on board with whatever you're doing. He, she, they are on board with whatever you're doing.
Whatever this thing is in my head.
And you don't know, like, does all of that stuff go away completely if you're on a path that feels right to both of you, or you don't know what the deal is. But in the meantime, it's kind of like it's a little bit comforting that they're there, and you seem at peace a little bit with having both of you there. And you find yourself appreciating, like, right before morning where it gets all, like, crickets get loud and the cool breeze on your skin and the warm fire. And you stoke the fire and you stare into it for a little while. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Do you have tissues?
In that bathroom.
I have allergies.
Whatever, you're bawling already. It's clear.
Is the Cadbury egg too spicy for you?
Shut up.
But yeah, your watch
Big
goes
Joey
without
Holiday.
incident. You can just see, like, it's starting to get lighter when you wake up early.
Oi. It's your turn.
Okay.
Ronnie sits up and, like, his hair, like, kind of over his face, and the breeze just kind of pushes it back first, like, brushes it out of his eyes.
It's like
Oh, will you stop that?
bedhead instant fix.
Yeah.
I don't do that on purpose.
I'm starting to wonder.
It is really convenient sometimes. Like, if it's hot out, you just, like... It's cool.
Imagine a personal device of some sort that would, like,
Yeah.
put a breeze in your face.
Would you like to trade? You can have voices in your head instead.
Well, what do the voices say?
Nothing of value.
Okay, nothing.
We're considering it.
Roll an insight check.
Okay, that was decent. 19.
When you say nothing of value, without any audits or anything, it's like, hey, vibe in your head for a split second.
It just kind of like, well, if you'd told me something that made sense, I wouldn't have to say it like that.
Silence.
That's what I thought.
And so you
I go like
no,
that.
I'm not even going to make you make a person. It is flat. There's light. Like, you, yeah, you're probably about 20 feet off the road in a cleared space. So you see,
We'll see anything coming and going.
yeah, there's not a lot. And you see, like, maybe,
Squeezy snake.
It's not like Cad Bane walking up on you or something.
yeah, you see merchants here and there, and it's starting to be more, like, frequent, but they're not paying any attention to you. They go,
Don't come over here.
so, you guys all start to kind of naturally wake up as it gets warmer.
Alabart, there's this.
Octavia sits up, bored straight,
It looks
like
a
a
little less
vampire.
creepy when you see it in the daytime.
Yeah, the yawn where you can see like all of his teeth and everything.
That
And
cat yawn
his
where it,
jaw like kind of
Yeah.
distends a little bit, like a reptile.
yeah.
Is that a fork tongue?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Brana sits up and his hair's a mess. Wasn't even asleep that long.
Just like,
Octavia just
kind of glares at Ron. Like,
There's a twig sticking out of it.
I guess I'll just fix my hair on my own.
Yeah.
Like an idiot. You still in a real tight brain?
she lets it down to go to sleep,
Right.
and then immediately when she wakes up, it's the first thing she does.
It actually strains her eyeballs a little. So
That's
tight.
what all the slow
Sitting here right
birds
here,
do.
Albert just kind of like grabs his horn, just kind of.
Just to feel included.
Still pointy.
Very pointy.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I've got like the ridge going too.
So you guys probably, because you didn't have anything fresh to cook, you probably let the fire go out in the daytime anyway, so you don't really have to kick it out or anything. And yeah, do you do anything before you take off?
No.
I prepared my spells already, so
Go ahead and put sand in the pit just in case.
Yeah.
it is grassland. Yeah,
It is grassland.
kick some dirt on it.
You kick some dirt on it, like you kind of kick away a little bit of the grass that grew closer to it, and you feel confident it'll be fine. And since you're the expert, you're like, I know about fires. I even taught some of you. And so you guys take off. Like, what pace do you think you're walking?
Oh, that was a lot, Russ.
I would push for pretty fast. Honestly, like I very much think we gotta get him.
Booking it.
Okay.
Relatively.
So you take off probably about
I'm
after
not
that
running.
some breakfast and whatever, probably about like 11:30, and
Not no time, but quick time.
yeah, you notice as you keep going along the road, indeed the condition of the road does start to worsen. Like it has some kind of like it gets more and more like kind of grassy and just a little grown over. It doesn't really bother you because you're on foot.
I'm on the lookout.
For snakes.
Squeezy.
Make a perception check and take off 5 because you're going fast.
Good. It would be 12. No, sorry, it would be 13. So 8.
So you're on the lookout for really big snakes in particular because you don't want to get suffocated. And like out of the corner of your eye, all of a sudden you're like, ah! It was Alabras' tail.
You all right there?
I just, don't want anyone to be surprised by anything dangerous.
What's up?
Has her staff out before they like go back and forth.
Are you still worried about snakes?
No.
That's why you jump so fast.
You guys check your passive insights.
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
Like,
it
where-
doesn't matter because it can't be lower than 10, right? Passive.
Not really, I don't think.
Yeah, because I gotta. Hold on.
What would passive
Deception?
insight
That's
be?
-1 for a 3.
It's one of your
Wait, like where is she
Yeah,
again?
my
Oh,
passive
passive.
insight is a 16.
Yeah. Like,
Mine's
I
11.
got a 3.
I'm gonna use my tail and just like brush her ankle while staring directly at her, but like
I will immediately try to hit it with my quarterstaff.
Roll.
Like,
I'm gonna move
You roll
because
a deception check with advantage because she's already scared.
thank you, DM. Deception with it. Oh God, I have no deception, so this is good for me.
What's your passive insight?
it's pretty good. 17.
Yeah, we're gonna take 5 off.
All right, well it's gonna be an 11.
It's still 12.
I have no.
You were able to mitigate your reaction to it.
I still smack his tail with my quarterstaff though. Did you need something?
No, it's fine. I like grab my tail, just kind of like checking for damage.
Oh.
I deserve that.
Big baby.
Big, strong man, baby.
It didn't even really hurt, but you didn't think she was gonna hit you.
I'm not used to someone like
It
hitting
shocked
my
him
tail.
more than
so-
anything.
It would be, kind of a sensitive part of your body.
The tail?
It's more like the violation of it all. How dare you?
I mean,
I'll think you live.
Uh,
I mean, you
Or
don't
her
need it,
bootstraps.
right?
Excuse me?
What?
Don't need my tail?
Yeah, if it gets cut off, don't you regrow it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but it hurts.
you think you regrow it. You're never really sure.
I don't know the mechanics of do Dragonborn actually.
No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
Probably not.
No! What do you think I'm some sort of salamander or something?
Yes.
No.
Could
I
be a
don't-
gecko.
What's the
Not
difference?
me.
No,
Hey,
what?
no.
Do I appear to be a gecko to you?
No.
I don't know how to answer that question.
You don't look like any gecko I've
I've
ever
seen
seen.
a gecko
but
in person, though, I don't think.
you've
Really?
seen a gecko.
I don't know. What is it? It's like a little lizard thing, right?
Yes, it's a lizard, but I'm
I
not.
I suppose I don't know the different types.
Well, I'm no lizard.
Oh, okay.
You always thought that geckos stood on 2 legs and talked about insurance.
Yeah.
So, not really sure.
Friends
It's all a scam.
Friends
Let's
with
go for it.
football
Because
players.
there's no way with her dark vision in
That
an
she's
old
never seen a gecko yet.
monastery
Yeah,
that
that's fair,
she's never
that's
seen a
fair.
gecko.
Yeah, I think she just doesn't know what they are.
She seems.
I was like, the really little? Yes.
Yes.
Hop,
Sort
hop,
of like-
hop on the ground.
Like pink a lot of times. Sort of pink.
We're going to have to point out so many things to her. You know this, right?
Yeah, well, the trouble is that there's a lot of colors of geckos.
Yeah, I'm specifically talking about the ones outside my house.
Tracy Jr. Jr.
Tracy Jr. Jr.
Y'all are naming the guy. I don't. Anyway,
Lots.
continue on. We've scared her enough. I guess.
I did want to mention there's a possibility that we're going to have to rescue the king. Anyways,
I'm sorry. What?
there's a possibility, however slight,
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to have to rescue the king.
I assumed that was a possibility. How slight do you think it is?
50-50?
That's... I wouldn't call that slight.
60-40?
I mean, if we must, we must.
Yeah, obviously.
He's in distress.
Yes.
This is what we should do then.
Yeah, we have to save him.
I came
but-
to that conclusion much more quickly than I did.
It's alright. It's alright.
Should not be in question. It's a person in need of aid.
You just do it then.
Yes. It's someone in need of our aid. We help them.
No, totally, yes.
Yes.
But us?
If we are capable of doing so.
It's the king that doesn't mess you up? That's the king?
No.
We would leave for them to be punished by others, but it is our job.
No.
If you,
Both of us just sitting here making noises.
I'm trying to understand your reservation.
He's a very important person. Shouldn't it be someone more important?
Are you used to only saving random nobodies?
So far, I have saved Daniel.
I wouldn't call him a nobody.
Did not know he existed before we saved him.
Weirdly, none of you can remember exactly what he looked like.
He's just one of those.
When you say Daniel, do you mean Daniel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're not sure.
We're not sure that's his name.
We did not know. We didn't even know. So our resume so far as a group is we saved Daniel.
True. Well, we also brought Azra back after.
We win the fight that she died in.
Too soon, but okay.
I'm
I
sorry.
personally, I have, accidentally killed apparently some highwaymen.
So you've got a negative score.
No. Apparently
Broke even.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, shouldn't our track record be a little better before we go on king saving missions?
I don't think that when it comes to urgent needs that they look at your qualifications. It's more of a volunteer basis.
You vaguely recall. You vaguely recall being taught in one of your classes that urgent and important aren't the same thing, unless they are, and if they're both, it's whoever's here. But like not with that amount of authority, just the conceptual.
Yeah.
Like,
So no one can blame us if it goes poorly, because we were just volunteers.
Oh no, we would absolutely be blamed for it.
I don't know. I tend to anticipate things going poorly when they are going poorly.
It's a
Do you think things are going poorly so far?
At the moment, we're okay.
Okay.
It's a bridge we'll have to cross when we get to it.
Well, we are.
I'm doing great.
And besides, if we fail, we're dead. They can't really blame us.
I actually find that very comforting. Okay.
Well, you should have sent professionals instead of us.
Exactly. It's
You
not
you
our
get
fault
what you
we're
pay for
amateurs.
in this matter. I'm just.
Well, and
Yeah.
there's also that. Hopefully, it's 40% chance, maybe.
That we don't even have to do it.
Well, if we do have to do it, that there will be at least one professional that we can be in contact with.
Yes.
'Cause Ember will hopefully
we're
be
just
close
a
enough.
ride along. Which is
Acolytes, if you would, something like that.
sure.
Everything will be fine. It'll be fine.
Never thought that in my life. Not
Sometimes
that
you got.
casually, anyways.
Sometimes you just gotta fake it till it's real.
That made you look more stressed.
What do you think I've been doing?
I personally would have gone
If
for
we
the
were to
rod
put
and
numbers
fake
to it,
till
I
you
would have a
make it.
-1 to faking it.
That's fair. You know as well.
On a
Out
scale
of
of 1
what?
to 20, faking it. Not great.
I think we're around a 12. I was being
As a
gracious.
group?
Yes.
You'll think
as
we're-
1 to 20, a 12.
A 12 at faking it.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
as
about
a,
it making
like
it?
as a net group.
More
Like a
around the
12.
Brana's better at faking it, so it makes
Faking
up
it.
for any
Oh,
discrepancy.
my terrible faking it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we stick together, then we have a positive number.
Yes, sure.
I think I'm good with that.
Here's the thing: is this scale like on a? Is this a 0 to 20, or are we talking like -10 to positive 10?
Alabroth starts walking faster to escape this conversation.
As Alabroth starts to outpace them, all of a sudden, he hears a voice in his head from the little boy that you recognize.
Oh,
And he's like, I found Mommy's stone.
Oh.
Like, I just wanted to say hi. I'm gonna go take a nap now, bye. And that's it.
and Al stops.
25 words!
He stops dead when that happens, and y'all kind of like,
Is everything all right?
let's see. I hope you're taking care of your mom. Our adventure is going well. We shall see you soon. Be good.
Was it a note from Pebbles?
Yes, yes it was.
How is he? What is he doing?
He found the stone and wanted to send a message.
He
And
didn't have permission to use the stone. He just...
I would say there was definitely some deception because he also was supposed to be taking a nap. So I instructed him to be good and to take care of his mother. He's
Like, we've heard your name.
admittedly it was good to hear his voice, but says they are doing well.
Good.
So, you guys keep going. At some point, Octavia probably takes out the map to see like what they're specifically looking for. It's getting harder to see the road. Go ahead. Everybody can make a survival check just to make sure you.
Should have taken this left at this Albuquerque. Well, 8.
14.
16.
My survival sucked today.
22.
Holy.
I rolled really well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ronnie, actually, Alabroth gets distracted as he has been a little bit, and you have to point out to him once or twice, like, oh, don't you see? But he's thinking about other stuff, kind of. But yeah, you guys, since it was only when he stormed off ahead that he got a little off track. But other than that, everybody seems to find it. As Octavia looks at the map, she sees the name of the whatever coming out of the town is called Chucklechuck.
A what?
Chucklechuck.
No.
And do you think you guys stop for lunch? You're still pretty at a pretty fast pace.
We could use some real food.
We could use also refill just a little bit on supplies.
Yeah, I just do you head straight for it.
I think so. Yeah.
You do stop at a stream that's at some point and refill your canteen. It's fresh water. Ronnie looks at it and is sniffs at it for a second and is looks good. You all fill up your water skins and you head that way. You can start. So you get there. You get there probably a couple hours after dark. About 8:30-ish at night. And you get there and you notice calling it a town is generous. It's kind of like if you've ever driven in West Texas or South Texas, where you have the one truck stop that's really nice.
Maybe there's something across the street.
It's the only thing that exists except for McDonald's and.
I was about to say there's one fast food restaurant. It's
Yeah.
never the one you
And
want
if
it to be.
it's Taco Bell, it's awful there, even if you like Taco Bell. But yeah, you get there and and there's no population signs or anything, but like you didn't see houses before you got there, and you don't see. It's like smaller than foot roads. Like
It was definitely a pass through.
yeah, and it's you see behind it is the dead oak forest.
Is there an inn?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The one rest stop is with a giant sign is the Softwood Inn.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway.
I got distracted by wondering if oak was a softwood.
No,
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's a hardwood.
Absolutely not.
Be quiet.
Ah, no.
I mean, it is now.
No. Would anyone prefer
I'm
a
gonna-
warm bed to sleep in for tonight?
I would love that. I think we should check to see
With-
if there are any guards.
And snakes.
Any guards?
I mean, we're still technically not great in the government's eyes.
Are we still wanted? Are we still...
I mean, it never went away.
Oh, wait. I have something
True,
for
we
this.
were on the lam.
I will say you guys headed like in very separate direction. I'm trying to think what the check I would want. Okay.
Who has the longest hair of the group? Octavia, may I have a snippet of your hair?
How much?
Not that much.
Sure.
Okay?
You watch her take like an unreasonably long amount of
No,
time
no,
to
no.
select which part of it would be the
Oh
best.
And
yeah.
I take just a little bit. And then... There! Barely recognizable. I kind of bind it together and then just kind of like put it underneath a
Roll a
scale.
performance check. for
Okay
me.
then. Oh, please let this be good.
The laughing is in character.
Wait, performance? Hang on. What do I add to this too?
Performance.
Oh, I got a 0. Anyway, 16.
Somehow, he's able to like curl his top lip to like keep it in place, kind of.
I put it like kind of under a scale, and then I like I want it to actually be twirled a little bit.
It is a very upsetting looking mustache. It actually is kind of passable. It does not disguise his face.
No.
in
Of
any
course
way,
it
shape, or
disguises me.
form.
The dragonborn they're looking for does not have facial hair. He would not have grown this.
Who
Who are you
This-
arguing with
talking
right
to?
now?
I'm talking to all of you. It's
Nobody said anything.
no dragonborn would have grown a mustache in that much time.
Can
They-
Dragonborn grow mustache?
Today they can. Just-
Here's the thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Physically,
Yes.
other Dragonborn, like all the Dragonborn you know,
Are we going to get to the technicalities of this?
do they grow facial hair?
No. But I could be one from, like, I don't know, the West. Or something.
I'm going into blind mode. I don't see anything. Just walks
I
away.
feel like
We'll let you
anyone who
implied
sees
that, won't we?
a Dragonborn with a small mustache is going to assume that that mustache was cut from the hair of one of their
No,
companions.
no. How would they?
Maybe not specifically,
But would it match a wanted poster?
Technically, no.
You guys look around at each other and you're like, wow, there's nobody in this group that just looks like a normal person. That's not great.
You would all do well to maybe throw a mustache or something, some sort of facial hair. Octavia,
I like my hair, thank you. No.
You could grow
No.
like a large beard.
From the chat, Dragonborn can grow facial hair.
Oh, they did.
Everyone's
Amy.
argument is invalid.
Source. I want to hear, just because I'm curious. Everybody roll a perception check.
Oh, come on.
Close to the end.
Oh. Ooh,
Real bad today. But it's 13.
that was
I'm-
better.
I'm rolling like decently, but the roll on how well I can read is like not good.
24.
21.
17.
13.
So, actually, just the two of you, Alabroth and Brana, both you can hear like a pretty healthy din noise coming from within the tavern. It's not an empty tavern. It's probably pretty full. There's quite a few voices. Probably, Brana probably glances towards the stables, I would imagine, and there's seems to be like quite a few merchant carts and stuff. Everybody can also roll me a straight intelligence check.
3.
I've never known anything in my life.
16.
9.
Wait, intelligence?
Mhm.
What's the terms on that?
Okay. Fully switching out my dice.
Yeah, that was all the luck of the dice on my part. Int is my dump stat.
Oh, 10. It wasn't great. Mine is +8.
We can be smooth brains together.
In the meantime, I
So
take my
wait,
mustache
one more
and top
time,
sell
10.
No, 9.
Nine.
3.
16.
Okay. Only rounding it, but this actually makes sense. Like, it's a weird overlap where there's, like, furs are taking their earliest trips because it's early fall, so like some of the animals have already gotten larger for, and merchants and harvesters are taking some of their last trips through this area. Like, there's a couple of ports further south, more like swampy lands, and so you know that like this happens to be a weird intersection where like 3 or 4 different kinds of travelers are out, and so you would guess there is security of some kind, but you don't think it's super likely that the crown has that much interest. What's happening around here?
Cool.
So, what do you guys do?
There's probably enough protection to keep us safe if people don't think they need to stay safe from us.
What were we doing?
Well, we're gonna restock.
Rolled a 3. We got distracted by
We're gonna
Bumblebee.
restock our stuff and get a good night's sleep and a bed, and
Get
Oh,
the room.
hopefully not be on the lam.
I will
here.
go get rooms for everyone since they won't recognize me.
Thank you very much.
Also, my mustache is now like Tom Selleck style. Magnum
How much
PI.
hair did you cut off?
Enough to do a Tom Selleck style mustache.
She's
He,
got a
like,
pixie cut
He
now.
cut all of it
I'm going to be
in half, so like it went like this, but now like
Yeah, so it's all down now.
I'm going to stick with
I'm gonna
you.
go approach the inn and get the rooms. Oh, I should disguise my voice as well.
I don't want to be
So-
around that.
what do the rest of you guys do while he's headed in?
I'm following Octavia because she's my guide.
Smart.
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna hang
Do you
near
wanna
the
go with that?
entrance.
Do you want to go with Alabroth and watch?
Because I don't want to sit
No,
down.
don't come over here. They might recognize you. I will
I'm
get the
gonna
No,
rooms.
I'm talking to.
Oh.
Sit at a booth in the corner.
Of the tavern?
Yes.
I will also go do that because Alabroth insisted that he would not be recognized.
Exactly.
Put my hood up. And just chill facing the wall.
So you guys open the
Very chill.
She's reaching inside the case. I'm terrified.
No, just dice. I don't
Okay.
need dice. You guys open the door to the tavern. It is one of those swingy doors, saloon style.
Right.
And
Room
when
for the two of us.
you swing it open, you notice there's probably like a good 20 people in here. Most of them are men, either humanoid or dwarven, or they all look strong. And the women that are in there also look very strong. And a lot of them look pretty drunk too. And there's a lot of body kind of laughter, and there's like one waitress busting her ass, and she's got she's probably 40 something. She's got kind of crazy red hair, and the goods kind of on display, and she seemed very comfortable. She's enjoying the attention and just talking pretty saucily back and forth. And everybody roll a perception check.
I need the good dice for this one.
20.
God! Oh.
I think I siphoned your rolls.
8.
25.
21.
Holy crap.
And 20 total.
So everybody got 20 or higher?
Except
No. 8.
Oh, you got 8. So,
you're too busy being, not recognized.
Alabroth, you are pulling this off. You like walk through, and you're so proud of yourself that you're not even bothering to look around. You're like, I have a disguise.
I don't
and
want to
it's
appear
great
suspicious at all.
and working.
With a mustache that's mysteriously the color of one of my companions' hair.
Brana, you're looking straight
Coincidence.
forward because you're not looking at anything, and you see behind the bar, you see a big sign that says Softwood Tavern, and it says like since 3:15
This afternoon.
whatever the initial of the year. It says property of Chuck and Tara. And behind the bar you see a dwarven man. You think dwarven? Like there's a greenish tint to the skin, and he has tusks, like little tusks, but everything else about him looks dwarven. He has the lovely combination of very like light ginger hair and green skin, which is kind of rough. And he's just tattooed like everywhere. But his facial hair is a little patchy, and he is kind of yelling at one of the not the regular, at Tara. And he's like, well, I got what I paid for with you anyway. And you're so distracted by, like, Chuckle Chuck and Chuck that, Octavia, you see essentially the same thing. Alabroth, you're busy at the bar. And
I have to swagger with the mustache. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What do I notice?
out of
What's your...
the corner of your eye with just enough time to kind of, like, you hear, these are my friends! And somebody throws themselves at you. We're going to take a break.
Oh.
Oh no.
We're going to take a break.
Alright, we'll be back in a couple of
It's
minutes.
Pebble!
How would someone recognize me with the mustache?
Oh my god.
No idea.
You don't know if they did.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's
They
gonna
might just recognize
One of us.
us.
Even if I rolled higher than you, it wouldn't make sense for me to acknowledge it. Because I have to pretend I don't see a shit.
I think, like, if it's visuals and if it's not in your vision, I'm going to come up with a system that's not, like, disadvantage, but it's, like, -5 if you'd have to watch it entirely from the corner of your vision and it's not sound and all that. Or you can get the straight roll, but somebody might notice, you know?
Yeah.
But it won't be a huge penalty. It might be, like, -30 or something.
Are we,
Huh?
are we live?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, cool.
Hello, we're back. I don't know what that voice was, and I'm very sorry.
Why do they
As long as you don't voice an
They are
entire
native
character
girls.
like that, like, you can do it. You're
Well,
in there.
darn, there goes my backup character.
Oh no. You're just trying to make sure Brahma stays alive. Because, like, no thank you.
Oh my god.
Well, you don't want to hear a voice like this the whole
Absolutely
campaign.
No. So, that's.
Okay, point
I feel like your BFF's face should tell you all. Just.
See, the problem is that just makes me want to do that voice more.
Nope.
I loved it. Do it all the time. Anyway, so, before the break, you guys had just walked into the Softwood Tavern.
Every time.
Right outside the entrance of the Dead Oak Forest, and you guys had noticed a couple of things, and Ronnie in particular, right before we took a break, he heard somebody and saw like a blurry thing kind of rushing towards him, and it actually makes perfect sense that it was you. Because right before you step aside to let whatever that is crash to the ground, you time kind of like almost slows down for a second, and you recognize a face that you saw with everything blurry around you when someone had charmed you to ascertain that you were telling the truth in your first mission ever. It was and you see a flash of red hair in 2 braids with loops across her back, and you catch Aisha before she falls to the floor. And she looks kind of around at all you guys. Alabroth, do you think you're a little ahead of them, so you probably don't see it quite yet. And she goes, oh, thank God you guys are here, don't leave me alone. Drinks? You want drinks? And like...
Sounds great!
Sure.
Alabroth, you probably catch about now. I'm gonna see if she thinks to tell you.
I don't know.
She backs up all of a sudden. She says, wait, are you the real ones or are you the...
No,
We're the
we're good.
ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Okay, it's fine.
charmed?
Yeah, you charmed me.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, so, I haven't seen any, like, official guards here all night, for what it's worth. Like, she rolled high enough to,
Good.
like, think about that. And she looks around at each of you, and she kind of waves the barmaid over, and she's like, I'll have another of what I was having. And she just gestures what he was having, and probably for like honey meats for you guys.
Sounds good.
A big one for. Oh, she looks at Alabroth and she's like, "Sir, what is your name?"
Well, ma'am, my name is Carter.
Oh no.
We'll work on that anyway.
We were just going to the booth in the corner.
She's like, we have kind of a corner booth.
Who's we?
You guys turn around, and she kind of like rolls her eyes and like gestures, and you see, in fact, in a corner booth, really probably the exact booth you would have looked for. You see, a dude that is a few inches taller than Alabroth. Everybody make a history check. And you
Do
can
I
have
make it?
I think
yeah.
I've never pretended to know anything.
Fuck, I'm stupid.
11.
18.
2.
5. Could have been worse, I guess.
So the 3 of you are like, that's a big guy. How about that? Octavia, you've noticed 2 things. You notice like a smattering of like grayish freckles, like large grayish freckles, and you notice like ears that are like little big, and also have like kind of a little bowling in the front as well. And you notice both of those to be associated with giants, hill giants. But I had you roll history, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also know, so intelligence in D&D has the same issue as IQ tests, right? Like in that it measures proportionately similar experiences across the spectrum. It's not a problem for a stat, but like actual like smarts seems to be pretty like consistent with how long different species live and all of that. Giants are an exception. They're real dumb most of the time. You have it's been theorized that like it's a curse or something to do with the deity, because it doesn't make sense that everyone else is growing at similar rates relative to their lifespans and just stuck. A lot don't even speak language. They're only interested in violence. Like, So because of those factors, like seeing somebody with giant blood is rare. But yeah, you see big dude, probably about 6'9", 6'10", not much taller. And very deliberately sipping from it with his pinky out, but holding a beer glass. And she's like, this one, he's over there. You guys didn't like Jeffrey that much, right? Because I'm going to kill him when I get back. He set me up on this thing. Anyway.
That's your date?
No.
Are you teaching him to hold his pinky out?
No.
Okay, so that's just the thing he does.
And, you see that he's kind of looking very expectantly at her. And, she goes, don't you guys want to join us, please?
Of course.
Sure.
So, you walk over, and
It seems like a date.
Really seems like a date. Should we pretend that we're all dating?
Why not?
she goes, these are my friends. They're all quite high in society and cultured, and you could learn. Anyway, this is Reggie, and he just raises an eyebrow at her, and she goes, excuse me, may I present Reginald Archibald, estate tax the third.
Estate tax.
And-
Reginald Archibald, estate tax the third.
Yes. And he looks at you all, and he goes, she's just like, and this is, and she like goes through, she remembers all of your names, and he goes, he looks around at everybody and he goes, hello there. And
Hi.
he said, and she goes, I'm the head of his security detail for his trip, further south.
For what purpose?
Mr. Estate Tax.
Sir.
What do you require that
Sir the
needs
third.
protecting?
He's like, well, I just don't get on with all these ruffians. Like, I'm a man of means, of stature, of family.
Certainly of stature.
He's trying to figure out if you're making fun of him. And he rolled pretty high, and he's like, quite.
I've
So,
never seen someone such
Sometimes we need people to take care of some of the dirty work, and Aisha came highly recommended to me, as she could also teach me Elvish. And she's just sitting there with like this.
How's the Elvish going?
It's like, well, it's going very well. I pick up on things very quickly. Roll an insight check.
Wonderful.
Oh,
Insight check too.
I've never known
It's not
insight.
for, 16.
Ooh,
Hold
wow. 22.
13.
12.
Aisha puts her hand like very far down on your knee, like squeezes it. Like you could just tell, like as you're starting to look around, she's not scared. She's
Annoyed.
just
This
she's
guy's so
hating
really
all of
pompous.
this. You guys kind of think back and like Jeffrey doing this to her makes perfect sense, and kind of like props for revenge of.
Admittedly.
Yeah, like this guy seems like safe. Doesn't seem like she's doing anything particularly hard, but she's clearly not having a good time. And so he's like, yes, so I needed someone to just help me navigate the world, as I'm traveling south to meet some associates of mine, and And how many of you speak Elvish? I know you do. I feel like 3 out of 4 of you might.
Die. don't.
You don't?
Trying to see. Under languages, right?
It should also be just like off to the side.
Oh, I do speak Elvish. Yeah, look at that. Infernal,
So-
Elvish, and Draconic.
Very, very quickly, in as few words as she possibly can, she says, you would teach him Elvish too if the other option was to listen to him talk. And,
Oh, I answer her back, and is he a bit of a... I heard the word jackass.
she's like, she goes, well, he thinks estate tax in third means something fancy. He's not a third, and that's not a real surname. Like, what do you think?
I'll also say in Elvish, he seems very uppity.
Brana's
And
just
he's
staring
like,
off
this
into
is rather
space.
rude, which is not wrong. Like, but he's mainly talking to Aisha.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, I'm sorry, just, the legend of, or the language of my home, I forget sometimes. It's my bad. So anyway.
Well,
It's also just a great way to learn a language, to engage in conversation with speakers.
He's like, that's not what my old tutor used to tell me. He told me that you should go very slow and only learn 3 or 4 words a day.
well, one of the main things you should learn is how to announce yourself. And in Elvish, I teach him how to announce his name.
Takes about 45 minutes.
But actually, I teach him the translation of "I am a horse's ass."
Let's see. He's not likely. He wouldn't know ass because he wouldn't want to know profanity.
What did he say?
Tell you later.
Okay.
Nah, he doesn't catch it.
And just remember to say that as loud as that is how you would announce yourself to other people.
And he goes, he's like, I mean, that may work for you. I certainly don't like to go around shouting.
It would impress upon people that speak the language, that announce that you are a linguist of them. Also, I look, I kind of, since my head's like, my eyes are on the side, I make sure my head's turned away as I go.
He's like, so, you said they were people of means. How do you know them? And, Aisha spends like a very loose version of what happened. Like, in her story, you guys were people of means and a sterling reputation and good families who got
Missionaries, if you will.
accused by, the lower classes of whatever, and were courageously proven to be innocent and the pride and joy of your families and your towns. Because it's clear that all that matters to him, not even kind of to her. But he's like, well, seems once again that, in the long run, you just have to keep your head in it and it will pay off. And he takes out a pipe and pretentiously lights it and starts puffing. But after a couple minutes, after certainly not 45, Tara brings you guys all a round of drinks, and Reginald goes, allow me, and he gives her that. He doesn't tip her, and Aisha's everybody roll perception check.
13.
I'm at a misroll.
17.
14.
I'm not perceiving things today.
Bronna noticed sleight of hand. Aisha slips her a tip, and also that she had held her hand out behind her, so clearly this is a game they've been playing.
I make no indication that I saw.
Yeah, like,
I put 3 silver on the table. Actually, I just handed it to her.
let's see. I'll say, like, the first, like, it takes you a sec because she takes it and leaves.
Yeah.
So you probably, you can get her on the next round probably, but she doesn't immediately, you know, she walks off pretty quickly, and after a second you're like, oh.
Yeah, but as soon as I notice him not give her a tip, I will take money out. And you can see Octavia's kind of just staring at him.
Yeah, I kind of look over at Ron. In Elvish, I say, "This cheap bastard."
And then, yeah, very deliberately, when she comes back around, put 3 silver in your hand and say, "Thank you so much."
Aisha looks not like scared, but like she reacts to it in kind of a weird way. And go ahead and roll a perception or insight to see if you can catch it on the second round.
14.
Oh, I thought I was rolling. Dang.
Rolling like garbage.
I rolled a 22 if that means anything.
So this time, like, you see it, and Aisha sees that you don't see it, and so the waitress, like, kind of freezes a little bit, and Aisha takes the opportunity to accidentally drop her fork onto her plate. They had dinner a little while ago, and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and like clatter as she's like, "I'm getting her, she's good," like in Elvish under her breath, and
I will.
go ahead.
I'm actually gonna turn to Reginald and say, "I'm so sorry. This might be. I was confused when I first came here. This is a tipping culture, so when a server brings you something, you're supposed to give them a little bit more money."
Reginald kind of stiffens up, and Aisha looks kind of
a different polite thing than I'm used to. I was confused about it at first.
He looks at you and he goes, "I'm not confused.
Oh.
In my culture, it's considered very rude to just assume somebody doesn't know something and try and do it yourself. When I offered as a host
What do you mean?
to pay for your drinks, and you said you did this wrong and you're confused." But like he's clearly like pretty aggressive about, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I was trying to be helpful. I have very recently switched cultures, and it's been very difficult for me to understand the ins and outs of how polite you're supposed to be in different circumstances, and I was trying to be helpful because I know it was very difficult for me, and it can be difficult to switch cultures.
Octavia is very used to teaching.
He sits there for a second. He's like, "Well, like, do you think she's trying to understand him or no?"
I think
She seems more like frustrated, but I don't know. Like,
she's frustrated, but she's also like she tipped her, and then she was like, "Oh, he might not know," and so she's kind of flipping in between being frustrated and genuinely trying to help him, because she might see a little bit of herself.
It's weird. Like, in some ways, you kind of all see a little bit of yourself, because you recognize the people might make assumptions because you're a big guy and you're not common traits, and make assumptions about you. You see some of that, like, fake it till you make it. You see, even without trying, putting on appearances of sorts, and you see somebody who's kind of an outsider of culture in some ways, that, like, it's not changing cultures, it's adopting anyone at all after just spending a lot of time in either very small or non-existent, like, alone time. And Aisha kind of stiffens. I'm going to see if she thinks of what I think. Yeah, she does. She goes, in many ways, Octavia's still learning. We all are. Nobody's perfect at any of this. Like, I just, like, we want to all be proper, I think is what we're saying, and appreciative of people who, maybe not everybody appreciates as much as they should. She kind of shoots you a warning glance to maybe, like, just not push it any further than that. And Reginald starts back and he goes, certainly.
As people of station and means, we all like to make sure that we're doing everything properly so that we all understand each other.
I look around and see if we're drawing attention.
I can't imagine we're not.
No one, only one person at this table looks
casually.
Normal.
You don't even know.
What? I have a mustache.
I'm not talking about me.
Oh.
This is the closest one. I would say go ahead and roll you can roll perception, you can roll insight, everybody can.
I'll roll insight.
I'll roll
I won't, it won't matter. It
15.
won't even matter. I'll go,
15.
they're the same. 7.
15.
I'm sipping a drink and being...
Okay, 15.
Everybody got a 15.
Okay,
No, not me.
Except you.
Luckily,
So-
you're
You
blind.
poor child, you.
With 15, which is right with what you needed, like, for once, they're paying, like, a little more attention to Octavia than the rest of you because she's kind of the smallest. And
See?
this is just, like, the Alabroth draws less attention than usual.
It's the mustache.
Yeah. And,
Are you even the smallest? How tall are you?
Like 5, 7, 5, 8.
We're about the same height then.
But she's also like,
No, wait.
like,
she's yoga instructor skinny.
very, like, wiry, not all the way adult
I'm
body.
6 foot.
Almost.
She's a skinny
Yeah. So, after, like, a few minutes, you guys just kind of chat, and Aisha looks at you and goes, "You're a girl! Let's go powder our asses or whatever. Let's go." She goes,
Yes.
Girl stuff.
Go to the bathroom together. Go take a
How
shit
could
in the alley.
these two think-
Let's go.
Aisha, how is Octavia like, this is something I've heard? Like,
I think she listen.
What is this?
She had a friend. So yeah, she's had at least one friend to go to the bathroom with. You.
so you guys,
Is she really going to take a shit in the alley?
We'll tell you when you're...
so
We'll tell you when you're older.
I don't want to go to the alley.
I don't think we need to.
Please note the door that she goes out of. 'cause
I can't.
Restroom. I don't know what you're talking about.
Please,
actually do
please
have,
note
like,
the door that she goes out
like,
of.
out
I can
yeah,
break
yeah,
one.
yeah.
inside
Like a
kind
deep
of thing.
hole. Yeah.
So she's like,
Just girly things.
so Aisha goes, ha 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 ha, kidding of course, anyway, let's go. And she like kind of grabs you. And you guys head off that way.
Like, I don't know. There's not I don't have powder. I don't know what we're gonna do.
I'm going to go get us some rooms, guys.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna
be
go secure
outside.
lodging with who I guess the big tatted up
Yeah, like he's
tooth dwarf.
fast as fuck, like serving drinks and stuff, like throwing stuff out there.
Yeah.
It appears that the two of them are handling about 25 people who are drinking a lot.
Wow.
Something I never did as a server. Handle even close to that.
So you,
I was supposed to.
Oh, got to put the accent on. I'm trying. Pardon me, sir.
Did he leave us alone with the giant?
Yes.
We're good. We're good.
Chuck, like, is slinging drinks. He's got the bar slide with
You
it
know Elvish.
down, and he's like, then he goes, "What can I do for you?"
I'd like to secure 4 rooms at your lodging.
Only got one left.
One left.
I do
I-
primordial.
I'll take it. How much do I owe you?
And he goes, he says they are, since we only have, he goes, we're at capacity, so it is 2 silver for the room.
Okay.
We'll try and do things on the cheap.
I
And for
Flip
3
it.
silver, we can include dinner and breakfast.
include 4 silver to cover the cost and a 25% tip.
Dope. So he gives
Let
you,
me take
these
some
actually
money
do have keys. You glance around, you see that there are private security here. So they do,
They have bouncers.
yeah. And you notice that like one of them leaves every once in a while, so they're like walking the hallways too, so you feel like it's a pretty secure place. But yeah, as soon as you guys get out of earshot, she's like, she kind of grabs your arm. She's like, I'm so sorry. He's not bad at tipping. He's bad at math. He's not very smart.
Okay, I thought he was just being really rude.
He's pretty dumb, like, and he's very annoying, but like, he's not, it's just like, if you indicate that he's not keeping up with society, he tends to get pretty upset. Because, you know, like, most people can't even read if they're giants. So, like, I guess I get it a little, but
that
like,
I totally get, but when you and he part, isn't he going to go on not being able to do the thing?
what?
Like, if he doesn't tip now, and you never bring it up, when you are no longer his chief of security, won't that still happen?
The one that says
He doesn't usually have to do it for 6 people at once.
Yeah, I did.
Like, if it's just him,
hit remove.
it's the, like I said, he's not bad at tipping, he's bad at math. And she
It's a
didn't
mood,
give a
son.
total, she
Zero.
gave like, it's, you know, a silver piece or whatever, and like, it just gets confused.
Okay.
One of your
Sometimes he has
gold
trouble doubling things, but for 6 he just,
and add 10
like,
silver.
I don't know what to tell you, like, he's,
Okay.
I don't know what he's gonna do after this, like,
So
but
you
I try and
have it there.
help him while I can,
Okay.
but like,
Yeah,
to
you
help
can.
somebody, sometimes you have to know what their problem is, and like, this is a math problem. And
Okay.
like, he doesn't do very well with the tables or the visuals. I've tried.
Tables?
Like, she draws a quick multiplication. Like, she was like, you know, some people use this one for. And then she's like, you know what? And she writes it in Elvish, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not making excuses or anything, but like, he's not trying to be a jerk. He just can't add it. Multiply.
Okay.
He can't math,
Uh,
which is a mood.
anyway,
That's...
what?
I'm quite an asshole then. Good to know.
It's just like.
It's just trying to help. I guess everything's going all wrong. It's been that way since I got here, so it's fine. Thank you for telling me.
So you guys go to the bathroom or whatever when you're done, and you're washing at the little stands they have with some.
Where the horses drink out of, and you just stick your hands in. Yeah,
They have pictures for.
that's much better.
Yes. The horses like
You just
Drink
wash your hands in the
after.
horse trough.
after you wash your hands.
I don't know how
before.
rural we are.
It's like the very well appointed truck stops with showers
Yeah.
and stuff, like laid out well, and
Very clean, like
clearly
a Buc-ee's.
they make an effort. It seems to work very smoothly in spite of the fact that it's not enough people working there. And Aisha just goes, it was, since you got, it was going to happen, it was going to be somebody was going to say, it wasn't in any way that it wasn't, but like, he's probably forgotten, honestly, like, he doesn't, he's more worried about him than you, don't stress
You
about
seem
it.
irritated by him, but not.
Aren't you irritated by him, but not?
I've been with him for 20 minutes. I thought he was a jerk until about 14 seconds ago. But you don't think he's a jerk, but you are annoyed by him?
Yeah. Have you talked to? Like, I don't know. I really don't do so well with like anybody, and this has been like the last
Why are
4
you,
days.
Yeah, why would you accept a job? I didn't think this is what you did.
Jeffrey gave me a tip about a hot job to
I
take
had
somebody.
no
for
idea you did
very
this for
good
what?
pay.
You, what? Are security for people for a job?
No, I kind of wander around, do music, but like sometimes you need a little extra. She's like, I mean, I came to run Charm Purse as a commission and do gig work, you know. Like,
Okay.
it's only gonna last another week.
Where are you going?
She's like, I'm taking him down to the southern port.
Do I know where that is?
Roughly, like at the bottom, there's a port that merchant ships sail out of. You don't know where he's going or anything, but like, usually going to Kiev. What?
This is so in the chat room, remember? Huh? Remember we were having the argument about lizards and dragons?
Oh, y'all.
Dragon. I don't do that tongue thing.
I don't do that tongue.
And I could just hear Eddie Murphy's voice.
But through Alabroth doing the little.
He even has a
Dragon.
Does he have a
You know-
little ribbon, like butterfly one? Like
You know what? You know what that dragon also has? A blonde
That's
mustache.
true. A very long blonde mustache, yeah.
Weird.
Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your child.
I'm gonna need you to do dragon, but completely in Albroth's voice.
Oh god.
That could be a sneak peek accent.
Just Eddie Murphy.
Soon, somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
At some point.
Aisha's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, I guess Jeffrey owes me one from all the making fun of him in Elvish while he's trying to learn. But like, I'm gonna kill him. And
I thought Jeffrey was Elvish.
no, she was teaching Jeffrey Elvish.
Gotcha.
That's how you met. He was from Baird.
Stringy hair, that's what I have.
About Jeffrey?
Yeah. I have
Nice.
stringy hair boss.
Sure.
That's all you need.
I'm fully confident that
These
that's
are
how
my
I
notes.
described him. So she's like, it is good money. That's how I know. Like, I don't hate him. I just don't really want to hang out with him. But it is the job, and that's how I know he tips. This pays me daily. But in the meantime, like, you can only do what you can while you can, right? So, like, if I can teach him how to math, then I do that. But it does at least comforted knowing that, like, if somebody gives him a total price or if he's by himself, then he can add a tip in. Anyway, everything's gone wrong since you got where, and you guys get back to the table about here.
Nothing. Should sit back down.
She goes, the tavern? It's just a busy night.
I would say the continent, but not important. Anyway.
I return to the table and they have one room, which is
Wonderful.
now ours.
Cool.
Good.
Great.
So,
Apologize in advance for the story.
Yeah, we'll just put, gonna put one of those things that makes trumpets not as loud. Just shove it down your throat.
Rude.
You still get air.
Rude.
Just makes it quieter.
chokes on his hair.
We could just like reach over to Opera.
Sleep lightly, Octavia. I might want a beard.
Don't.
So you
That
guys,
sounded very ominous.
I may need a
Sorry,
beard later.
I don't sleep. Is that better? Worse?
No, it's fine. You're fine.
Well, how would you think I would look with a full head of, ish color
Are you
hair?
going to scalp me?
I think you'd look great.
Yes, just some ish color hair.
I don't know. I feel like the green with like the
Reginald
yellow.
is like,
Octavius color hair.
It might not look quite as nice as your mustache does.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, how does this mustache look?
Very good.
Oh, it looks
No,
fantastic. Yeah.
I don't know if your sense of humor is being fully appreciated.
Did we get food and drink? Because I think we need to retire for the evening.
I think we do need to go to
you got
bed.
drinks. They're making you dinner. It's only like 8:30. And
We're the worst person.
or 9 maybe. You guys make as you're waiting for your
The
food.
dance.
Reginald makes some polite conversation about some stuff, and then he gets up and he tells you all. He's like, "Well, I enjoyed meeting you. What do you call yourselves? What is your group name?"
You told us that you were gonna do this. And we did.
The Fantastic
Four.
No.
I mean, there are
That's
four.
a stupid name.
I feel really bad that I actually had to.
Name.
I had
It's a
to
ridiculous
pause
sounding name.
and
The
actually
Fantastic
count how many
Four.
people were
This
here
is
because
stupid.
It's a bad
For
name.
like almost like half your session, there's been more, like 4 sessions, I think. So a third of your session, there's been more than 4 people. So
Yeah.
Aisha goes, "We've been calling you the unlucky bastards, but like,
It
That's a
fits.
good name.
Can we go with that?
No.
I wasn't suggesting.
It's
It. I
very
was just
apt.
saying, like, you all showed up, you met each other, and an
No,
hour
not
later,
very
you were accused of murder.
Actually, very good point.
Like, and I don't know I didn't know till tonight anything else that had happened, so the entire duration of what I've known you have been unlucky bastards.
So
Yeah. What
the chat recommends group 2.
the part where we were
Kyle.
framed
That
for
was
murder.
And you could call yourselves the unmurderers, but not, I don't know. And Reginald's like, "Well, you know, perhaps Aisha will tell me later," and he bids you all a good night.
It's in Infernal. So
I suggest
none
you
of us know it.
translate it.
yes,
to
that's a good
common.
idea.
Good night.
Good night.
And he just kind of he
What
walks
language
off
is
and
chosen?
Good night, Sir Reginald.
he shakes each of your hand. He lingers on yours for a split second. Was like, "I hope we both learn many things in the future." So
An infernal under my breath, I go, "Is it the blind leading the dumb?"
I answer in Infernal. What are you talking about? Actually, what are you talking about?
I'm just making a joke.
Make me jokes, I'll make you jokes. Let's go to bed.
Reginald looks around at all of you and he looks at Aisha and he goes, "Never teach me whatever that language is." He walks off. And
It was
Aisha's
an elective.
Aisha just kind of like relaxed when he walks off, and it's just like, it's a lot, you know, it's just a lot. But like, I don't know, he's trying, and like most people like it don't seem to be, so I don't know.
I wish I could have pretended to be blind for that whole exchange.
Must be nice.
It's fantastic.
You actually can do that.
No, but
Not
Gotta-
in the
I have to
walk
keep
around
up appearances.
autonomously.
no
But
blind
it-
person would have such a fine mustache.
He's too pure. He's too good to pretend to be blind.
Also, how would I see to address this?
You do it with your feel.
Aisha, like,
you
she's
kept a
sitting there and
mustache?
she's kind of laughing at you guys,
When I
and
was a
suddenly
teenager.
she unfocuses her eyes, and she's performance.
Yeah.
It's she's really good at
The
it.
little
She kind of
wispy.
feels around for a cup, and she's like,
I'm keeping this
"It's
thing.
not hard."
This is my new disguise.
There's a
for
reason I
meeting
don't have it now.
You're
okay?
not getting a new lock of hair every time. You're going to need to keep that one.
you. Oh, I plan to. This is
Okay.
apparently it's working. No one has recognized me here.
Takes her knife, and cuts like a good 6 inches of red hair off her full braids because she's like, "Try redhead."
No.
That's
I
what
take
it is.
that and I'm going to make it into a beard.
No.
So, wait. Octavia's got blonde hair, right?
Yeah.
So now I have...
A different color.
Why not?
You look like a worse version of the bartender.
So,
Great.
yeah. So now... Ha-ha!
Brana is going to just go ahead and get up from the table and just like start like feeling his way away from the table. He
My
is done.
own mother wouldn't be able to tell who I am right now.
Probably not.
And I kind of just...
Where's Brenna headed?
He's going like.
Food.
And then I try
Oh,
to...
he forgot about that. He just wants to.
So I'll say, like, right as you start to get it, start to, like, and then you smell, and it smells really good. You're like, ugh.
Sit back down.
Al, on the other hand, kind of like...
I should just kind of talk.
How
Like,
does
you
one
really do need a group name,
work
though,
with
if you're
this?
going to hang out together.
I call this the unlucky
That's
bastards.
what we called it. I wasn't suggesting it. I was just saying, like, it's easier than being like that weird, like, the Al guy, and, like, I can't remember everybody's name all the time that fast.
I mean, we could just be called those guys.
I thought maybe we'd turn it around, hope for the future, and the Lucky Bunch. Or the Lucky Batch, I have that too.
I like a bunch better.
Like Bunch. The Lucky Bunch?
That's really cute.
I refuse to co-sign to something.
What?
So...
What about the Lucky Few?
I'm just so blatantly terrible.
What if you were
I don't mean
lucky
to be cruel,
you were, like,
but-
skilled or tryhards or something? Like, you know...
The hard trying few.
The Tryhards?
I don't like the sound of
I don't
tryhards,
either.
but we do try frequently.
They might be heroes.
The frequent achievers. Anyway.
The Lucky Heroes.
We really need to figure this one out. But
The protagonists.
in the meantime, we do have a room waiting.
The protag gang.
Your
Sadly...
Food is here.
Oh, well, after we eat, I'm probably...
Well, Aisha's like, where are you guys headed next? And she goes ahead and gets more food when you guys had ordered. So she's happily sitting there eating another
After
meal.
2 days on the road, it should be called the Funky Bunch.
Gross. Where are you guys headed?
Which room is
Across the border.
Take your hand off.
Oh, so you're going through ghetto.
Don't you Picard
Have you
me.
heard about the border shit?
No?
What happened?
Oh, magic's being weird.
I didn't like that.
Like, it just, I don't know. I've just heard a couple things, like, somebody who can cast, like, first level spell, like, it transposing to a different first level spell that they also can cast. There's been some weird creatures and some, like, I don't know, it's just weird, kind of, right? It's like everybody's like those weird sorcerers that sometimes fail stuff.
And it's happening at the border?
It seems to be, like, centered around it. I don't know. Like, it's not happening a ton. It's not enough that anybody should be terrified, but, like, I don't know. There's probably a lot of, you know, like, I mean, where there's been that many dead, there could be undead stuff could start happening. There could be a thing. And whenever there's war, there could be, like, people making deals with other planes, or, I don't know, just, like,
Is there a natural landmark that happens to coincide with the border?
I don't think it's yet that there's a pattern that's that specific. It's just, and it hasn't been like, I haven't heard of anything crazy happening yet.
Well, I just meant, even if it's not related to the magic, is there a natural landmark that happens to coincide with the border? Like, I don't know,
River.
Oh,
River,
I've never
part of a
been. I have no
mountain?
idea.
okay.
I
With
guess
the magic thing, are people who, like, away from the border, their magic is normal, and then when it gets closer, it goes wild?
I mean, we're kind of headed from, I had to go to Akka to get the job, so, like, I haven't been yet, and it's just, I've heard in, I think, like, probably 3 taverns, 3 separate things that were all minor. It just, I don't know, I just didn't know if you guys had been traveling, if you'd heard anything weird.
Well, definitely haven't heard anything about that.
I would just keep an eye out for it. And like dead oak, you can get through in a day, but I would try and get all the way through it just in case, because it's pretty dense for a forest.
Even if everything's dead?
I should kind of laughs, and she's like, hey, do you know why it's called dead oak?
No, not at all.
She's like, so they used to just call it the oak forest, right? But oak is a hardwood, and there was only one oak in that forest, and it was dead, so they started calling it dead oak, so people would know that everything else is fucking pine. Pine being the worst wood to work with, and an extremely soft wood.
There we go.
Straight
Everything
up.
makes sense.
So yeah, like there's a big giant tree that's been dead for forever in the middle of it, but like they had carpenters coming through and stuff, and they'd be all mad. Pine sucks.
This is the Softwood Inn and Tavern. Is it made of softwood? Is it made of pine?
It's like, so right at that moment, like, let's see. Yeah, so Tara's walking up with refills, and she goes, she looks around, she's like, no, this is hardy, but like, you know, when we called it hardwood, people kept asking if we had a certain kind of employee. And,
What kind of employee?
your friends will explain it to you. The kind that doesn't stop here. And she gestures to the top of her dress. And she goes, you know, plus, I don't want people hitting on Chuck. Like, and I know that it's not always softwood. You know, we have a few kids. And, there's a table pretty close to yours that's kind of like watching her, because they're clearly all and they're like, here, and they all like slosh their drinks and throw it back, and she's like, you know, anyway, it just kind of wanders off. Octavia's sitting there like,
Good to know, I guess.
yeah, you can imagine why softwood wouldn't grab a lot of people that way.
I'm glad the tavern's not literally made of softwood.
It goes quite badly, yes.
And
Build a lot of things out of it because they're
I
like
mean-
rot, right?
yeah, they're also like, if you build a second floor, it might not be structurally sound.
Makes sense.
You know, second floors, but not circle squares.
It's different when
barns
you
have
have
lofts.
exactly.
You're like, it's like trees. You don't know that much about them, but trees, and I know which ones you can cut through and which ones you can't, and how that goes.
Well, it's just about the weird angle thing where what do you do with the gaps whenever you put a flat side on a round thing?
Yeah.
And how does it meet on both sides and still
And
meet
that's
at the
fair,
top and the
because,
bottom?
like, structural soundness is a thing you find everywhere in nature, so.
That's why you
like-
can't climb too far up a tree.
Yeah, but you've never seen a round tree attached to a square tree, so.
God.
Harder.
I don't think I've seen a square tree either.
So,
Don't really exist, so. No.
I mean, they
Outside of
might.
very specific circumstances.
so I just
I can
kind of
imagine like a lucky
pretty
plant.
tipsy, which is like, well, we have an early morning. I know be careful isn't great advice, but like,
Thanks.
be careful, I guess. Let me know if you think of that group name, you know?
Yeah.
Well, crowdsource something maybe.
Square peg, round hole.
I don't think we need
Not
to
a
talk
good
about
group name.
The two-story tryhards. Circle square. So she says, well, it was nice. Thanks for hanging out. Like, thanks for hanging out. It was nice to talk to more people. Bye! She just, like, heads off to her room.
Enjoy your job escorting Sir Reginald.
She goes, 5 more days if we're pushing.
Octavia, do you feel less or more awkward around her?
Then.
Normally.
Oh.
That's a little mean.
I'm not saying that Octavia's a bit
It's only mean if he
Neurotic.
follows it up with because you look way awkward all the time. And
No.
I can tell what he's with.
You-
Changes minute to minute.
Okay.
Although again, that is normal. I don't know. What did you notice?
Oh, her. She's very. I was wondering if it improved your self-esteem or made it worse. To see it on display. With our friend.
Her?
Yes.
She reminds you of me?
No. Perhaps I'm not choosing my words very.
No, she of the two people.
There's some
She's the one that reminds you
social
of me?
cues that you both seem to have.
Of the two of them, though.
Is
I-
it
Of the
because
two
they're
people that
elves?
we had dinner with tonight, she is the one that reminds you of me.
Yes.
That is the best compliment you have ever given me.
I was sitting there like, what? What?
Just
I
saying.
think that's the best compliment I've ever gotten.
You both have unique social cues.
I am fine with that. I just
Okay,
didn't
then.
want to be like him.
Oh no, he's a horse's ass. That's why I. Told
That's exactly. That's
No,
what-
no, by far you're not. No, you're no horse's ass.
Really?
No, absolutely not. No.
I've seen many horses.
Yes.
Is that what y'all said earlier?
That's what he
yes.
said.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is what?
The translation of Elvish
okay.
Brana's the only one that doesn't speak Elvish.
I basically do what everyone in China does to Americans. Anyway,
Why not?
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
he said
yours-
that there was a conversation. You may not have been there about tipping.
no, there's no excuse for that. He just.
No, he can't do math. It's not about generosity.
Oh, that does
And
make
yet he
sense.
carries himself as some sort of
It
edge.
That
seems
would
to
explain
contradict itself.
why
Yes,
his-
Mm.
That would explain why his surname is estate tax.
yeah. Although you do have to be able to do math.
To do
You want to
estate
figure
tax.
out your
Ironic.
estate tax.
He had no concept of what estate tax was. He heard
We should-
that rich people use those terms.
Honestly, we should get a job from him and charge him.
I don't
Since
want
he
to
has-
travel with him at all.
Oh no, absolutely not.
But does that mean after this is over,
Define this.
we rescue the king?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, she
you
said
would-
it out loud.
You would want to do this again?
I've been. Aside from a few troubles here and there,
I mean,
I've enjoyed the company of.
Together, we would want to maybe stay.
Yeah.
I
Someone's
certainly
better.
have enjoyed your
Assuming
company.
that doing this again doesn't involve Mr. Estate Tax.
Or the imminent death of either one of us.
Hopefully. But
Ideally.
we would want to maybe stay together. Do this, like, for a job.
At the very least, I
It's a
consider.
better option than my other one.
What was your other one?
Going home.
Yeah.
And being some kind of divine being. Don't want that.
Actually doesn't
Are
sound
you a
terrible
divine
to me,
being?
but
No!
Mm.
No.
we really do need to get some sort of a name. You're absolutely not going on lucky. You don't want the word lucky in it? Was that your problem?
It might be like inviting misfortune.
I thought it was the other way. I was thinking that saying
Well, less
unlucky
lucky
would
than-
invite misfortune.
I
and
think that
saying
would
lucky
invite-
might invite fortune.
I think they might both invite misfortune.
We're less lucky, but more persistent.
the persistent.
No, I'm just saying. No, we are not. Absolutely not calling ourselves that.
Synonym for
We are not lucky.
persistence?
We just. You know how you just keep hitting something until something works.
We'll call ourselves the Percussive Maintenance Crew.
Hey,
It's a mouthful.
The
maybe we should.
Resolute bunch.
You are really hung up on this bunch.
No, the
Why
synonym
not
for-
just
synonym for group
perhaps just
people?
the resolute?
The resolute.
Yes.
Everybody roll a history check for me.
Oh, that's not bad. 18.
20 total.
You said
16.
perception?
History.
History, sorry.
do
My
I have it?
my brain just
Yeah,
like...
that was a 16.
13.
There is a cult named the Resolute. Like canon.
Alabroth
There's
checks his notes.
Very little known about it.
On second thought,
It's crazy. That's
while
a
I
very-
would
that's a
enjoy
very-
taking it back, and we can't go with that.
Call yourselves the more resolute, I guess, but like, doesn't seem great.
Better resolute.
The tenacious
D. You know what?
Further.
push her off the camera.
Call yourselves Tenacious G for geeks.
I actually like that, though.
In the world, we're not geeks.
You might be.
You've got horse boy, girl. You've got whatever. I'm strong and I get theater. You have Octavia.
So okay, we have the horse girl, we have the jock that's trying to be a theater nerd.
Or vice versa.
We have the uptight bookworm.
And you have LARPer over there. Just saying.
I'm going to contest horse girl.
What do you want to replace that
The
with?
nature boy I just saw.
Ric Flair.
Wait, what did you say?
Ric Flair.
Woo! I couldn't resist.
Just like I don't know if this group can play non-geeks, including myself. Just
Perhaps the resolution. Nah, that sounds stupid.
Stupid. I think maybe
I'm
we
gonna
leave it
throw out those guys again.
Wouldn't be.
I feel like even Ronnie's like, was that be too vague?
Oh, we could walk into a town and when the god asks us, "Who are you?" We are the new god.
Yeah, it's gonna get very confusing very quickly.
It would be confusing.
I feel like they're going to think we're a cult after that.
It's like when one constable is on the scene and another constable comes in. Who's in charge here? I am not anymore. No one understands me. Anyway.
I think maybe we
I think
leave
it.
for
I think
tomorrow.
it wouldn't play out the way you're imagining.
I tried.
If you guys have been drinking consistently, you feel like a light buzz and a pleasant kind of.
I'm
like,
pretty sure if this conversation is happening, we have been
normal,
drinking.
like normal and not alarming sleepiness starting to come in.
I think maybe leave it for tomorrow. I'm out of ideas.
Did you say the Funky Bunch?
No.
Okay.
I don't think a good idea has come to this table for me. I'm going to retire for the evening.
Yeah. Bedtime.
So you get up there, and they actually do have like Alabroth-sized beds. So I feel like probably the three of you, if you chose, could fit in the other one. So like two king-size beds.
It's a big room.
It is, but like
Y'all gonna sleep
But
like
if you're
Charlie's grandparents.
entire...
well, like people don't like to leave their furs in carts. So like so just big, yeah, and it's the only place to stay, and
All of your commerce is based on people staying here.
pretty much everything else is at least a day away. So even with the extra traffic, they still have one room. So
I lay across one bed. Are we doubling up? Also, I'm just like,
I think
I
I
hit
think
the
we're
camera.
good.
if there's any room left. Clang, clang.
I think the rest of us are just cuddle pile on the other bed.
Yeah.
your door actually does have like deadbolt in it.
Yay!
And it has a window that's like too small reasonably for anybody to get through. It has the crossbars even though it doesn't have glass. But it does have shutters.
Actually, no. No.
What?
Don't want to do this. Yeah. Before we go to sleep, how long does it last? Nope, never mind.
Okay.
I was going to do something, but never mind.
So,
Sleep.
yeah.
Lock the doors and the windows, and Albarth ends up curling up in the Dragon Ball again on the bed.
Dragon Ball Z.
like a cat.
He snores for about like half an hour, but it stops when he hits a deeper cycle of sleep. Yeah, you wake up without incident. When you open the door, there's a fresh pitcher of water.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take off your facial hair while you slept? Because if not, I'm pretty sure it's all over the bed by now.
I'm going to assume since I took my armor off, I took my mustache off. And
What about your your luxurious beard?
I took the facial hair off. I had enough problems trying to eat with it, so yeah, I would probably take it off when I went to sleep.
He got a nice reminder when he took a drink and, like, got Tom Selleck mustache hair in his mouth.
That's
like, no,
so
thank you.
gross.
Hey. You doing?
And you guys wake up.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
Eat
Sniffing her
breakfast.
case.
Yeah, so like you went to bed.
Next I'll
Being
try to
tipsy
open it.
helps. You go to bed a little bit earlier, so you wake up like pretty much back on schedule. It's like maybe shortly after dawn, but yeah, they serve a very nice like buffet style breakfast,
Nice.
and you guys head out.
On the road again?
Hmm?
On the road again?
We started late. I'm gonna give you guys the option. We can go through the first part of the forest now, or we can save it for next time. It's up to you.
Next time.
Yeah, that might be best just because of the later start.
Yes.
I'm cool with
But
that.
it wasn't completely your fault. Technology was being an ass.
So
As it
yes, that is our show, our episode. Lots of exciting stuff. I don't have to plan next session. At least not most of it. Thank you for tuning in.
Be sure to subscribe to us here on Twitch so you can catch it. You can get a little notification when we start our next episode.
And you can always catch the trimmed episode on our YouTube channel,
That's right.
youtube.com/SCNS Live.
You can also watch our live show every Thursday evening at youtube.com/SCNS Live.
We gotta change these posters. Ooh, we can give away these posters at Allcon during
Take Moonlight.
the
Ooh.
live show.
Oh
Moonlight's
yeah,
fine.
we will be doing a live show this year at Allcon. So look forward to that. We don't have too much information for you other than that it will be happening. And we might be giving away some of these nice posters.
Win our own posters.
And we're going to stream a D&D game.
Yep, that as well.
Big things coming up.
Yep.
So if you're in the Dallas area and you like a D&D and you also like cool nerd stuff, come see us.
Words.
Yeah, words are
Yeah.
hard.
It is a party con.
Also, yeah, if you've never been to Allcon, check it out. It's a dope con.
Don't worry, we're gonna run our game early.
All right, bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye, thank you.